and thank you for being patient with me. I'm sorry I'm late. I let time get away from me. They were there waiting for me, and I was not here. So thank you all for coming in. I am joined by my co-host Julian, as normal. Sonny Las Vegas is below me, which Sonny's been on with us before. And then we have Rebel from the Rebel Reseller with us too. So I am going to make Sonny and Rebel big and let them introduce themselves. Their channel links are in the description. And Richard, I'm not sure if Mark's here. I haven't seen Mark yet, but definitely Richard will be here dropping their links. So if you guys want to check them out, definitely do that. So here is Sonny.
Hello, everybody. I am now a full-time reseller, now doing it for 8 months full-time, but I've been reselling back since around mid-2016. I mainly sell on eBay and have stepped into Whatnot, and that has been a huge help in clearing out some inventory and space, which if you haven't seen Rebel's recent video, she talks about space and filling it back up, and that's kind of like the story of our life when it comes to resellers. And that's basically what I do and learn as much as I can along the way from other resellers.
Hi, my name is Rebel, and like they said, my name is Rebel Reseller. Yes, Rebel is my birth given name. I have been on eBay for 23 years. Most of it's been full-time. I am a former Navy veteran. I'm also a former special education teacher. And for the last 8 years, my husband and I have pretty much been, both of us, self-employed, doing this online thing together.
Perfect. I'm paying attention, I promise. So we had a couple of new members as well as a super sticker hours before we started. So I definitely want to give them a dolphin and thank you guys for joining. Katie Reeds is helping me so much. I will say that. So Katie made me my new membership calendar, and I will be putting that out either tonight or in the morning for you guys. I move things around. As I said in my video yesterday, I was stressed. The first week of every month, I have been doing like 4-hour lives for 5 days straight. And that was just like a little too much. So I had to rearrange the membership schedule. So I will put that out for you guys. But Claudia joined. So Miss Claudia, thank you. And Miss Margaret joined. So I'm going to give them a dolphin for joining. And then we have a super sticker too. So here you go.
Welcome to the flipping family.
What does that say?
And here comes Dalton because he hears dolphins. And Pam Naylor sent a $9.99 super sticker. So Dalton wants to see the sticker, but the sticker doesn't come up in StreamYard. He's like, what sticker? Because there's no sticker. All right. Here is your dolphin. Thank you so much. And then we're going to get to you guys' questions.
Super chat.
Shh. Dalton was screeching. So Pam, thank you. Pam says it's their first live chat. I hope you're still here because you got here really early, but thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. I'm not sure where Duncan is because Duncan's normally on the ball with his questions. So Diane has the first question tonight saying, I made the jump to eBay. I have one account for clothes, one for toys. Should I combine them or leave them separate? I do not have a store.
Combining an account for clothes and one for toys. So I'm one who's like a minimalist when it comes to platforms. Again, I've only been using eBay for several years and now on Whatnot. And this is like a two-part question to this, two-part answer to this question. So a lot of my toys that I know are worth money and are taking some time to sell on eBay, I'm now going to sell on Whatnot. But for the longest time, I've been reselling apparel and having everything on my eBay because when I first started, I stayed into the habit of try to have the smaller items along with the higher end items. And that higher end items could be a different monetary value for some people to where $50 could be a lot to where when I started thrifting and reselling, $5 took a lot for me to spend on stuff. So there's a different tolerance for things. And if you do make changes more than anything, don't be in a habit of making changes too fast Give it a month or two to see what works and what doesn't. And if you do make 2 accounts and it's not working out, you could just save that other account.
I've always only had one account. I think right now I currently have about 9,000 items. I don't ever plan on separating into different, even though my primary focus is, believe it or not, stuffed animals. That is what I sell the most of. That is what I have the most of. But we do dabble in clothes and vintage Christmas, vintage household stuff, all of that. But, and even the name of my store talks about toys, but I don't ever plan on switching. I think it would be too hard to go back and forth between 2 different stores.
Not 9,000 items definitely
9,000.
deserves the. That's a good bit. That's a good bit.
I'm ready at 350.
I would. Jumping back and forth would be confusing for me personally. I would combine them into one because I think it would be very difficult. But then again, if you're trying to get repeat customers or something like that, but for me personally, I would combine them. I've only had one, and it would be difficult for me to have 2.
And I tried having 2, and it was a complete disaster because you have to sign out of one account, sign into the other. I would miss orders on the secondary one because I was mainly watching my main store, and I ended up taking everything off of that and putting it into one. And like, we're almost at 5,000 listings, so we have quite a few, but I would recommend for ease, I would combine them. And then Miss Diana, have you ever read where eBay tells new sellers that there will be times when their listings will not be seen? I read this from an admin on a Facebook group.
I haven't encountered that yet. The only notorious thing that I've noticed from myself and from other new resellers is that you get the markdown prices of eBay trying to sell your stuff. But that's just in the beginning, and you could always switch that off. Even later on, you could see that this pop-up ad, if you want to add a promotion or mark down the price on their own. I forget exactly what it's called. Sometimes you accidentally click that, especially on your phone, because it's so repetitive that your fingers kind of just take over. It has a mind of their own. So just take your time when you're doing stuff. But I've never had encountered that other than reading it from other people.
I've never even seen anything about that. So
I have no idea.
You can't find yours.
Yeah, I have not seen nor heard anything of that either. One Man Show. I like that name.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If he wants to know if putting keywords in the description of the items matter as far as appearing on search of eBay or even Google. I don't know what he means by a result says buyers need to add it as a filter. Maybe he's talking about like the item specifics. That's the only thing I could think of. Maybe the drop down item specifics.
I think
you guys see this because I'm gonna take it down so you're not Wilson over the fence. Okay. If keywords matter in the description, that's our question.
I don't have the hat or the skin complexion, but I already forgot the question. So when it comes to the filters, I want to stick to the item specifics. To me, everything's important, and it only takes a little bit of seconds per each item, especially when your items are, say, high end. I'm just going to give a number of like $100 or more. You want to have information for the buyer. The more information you have gives value to the customer, that they don't have to second guess what you have and compare it to somebody else's. I recently just had an iPod that was given to me for free from a friend who's clearing out their house, and it was 160 gigs on there. I had mine listed at $149, and I went through everything that I possibly could, even with all the scuffs and blemishes on the iPod. It sold faster than the other iPods that were pretty much in mint condition, because they're just had 160 gigs works. And I do believe in end descriptions themselves, as well as item specifics and the keywords. Keywords are definitely very particular to people, because us as resellers, keywords are keywords to us. But as a non-reseller, that's how I find things, say on OfferUp or Facebook or Marketplace. I'm trying to think of somebody who's not a reseller. If I'm looking for vintage shirts, for example, to have this question go on and have a reason for it. Vintage shirts aren't always vintage. I'm 41 years old, so I'm considered vintage, even though I look young. But I look up, say, old shirts rather than vintage shirts. or 90 shirts. So keywords have a different play. It all depends on what you're trying to do and help the customer try to find your stuff.
When I read this, I thought he meant like, for me, keywords are the most important thing, or up in your title. You know, that's where I focus. Like for me, the first 5 words of my title need to be everything a buyer needs to find my item. And then it's all the other fluff words to go with it. But down in the description, you know, it's basically the same thing that I've set up in my title. And then I describe the condition of an item. But to throw in extra words, I don't normally do that. I'm straight, easy, no extra stuff.
I didn't even know you could pay for a subtitle. I wouldn't. So I've
You
definitely
can.
never-
It's like $6. It's expensive.
It's
yeah, I probably wouldn't do
ridiculous.
that then if it's that much money. Yeah, I would agree that my description, like the first 5 is basically everything that I'm going to have, or 6 or 7, something like that. And I think it does, because I was actually trying to research something, and on Google, I couldn't find it on eBay, but on Google, I kept using different words to help out. And I finally found it with some solid keywords to use. So I think they're very important, but I definitely wouldn't pay for a subtitle, especially if it's $6. Maybe if it's like a cent.
So this is why I like having a 4-panel, because I feel like my answer is going to contradict some of the other ones. And I think we all do it our own way. So I am all about, like, you need all 80 characters. You will not find a title of mine under 75. And just because I do like a ton of vintage, I do linens that could be used for different reasons. So I want to get everything they could be used for. And I do no descriptions. If they have no flaw, I don't do a description. I think it's a waste of time. But that goes back, like, you're hearing all of these different, which again, like, everybody's going to run their business different. So you can pick and choose from different people to kind of build your own. I would not pay for a subtitle, but I would use the drop downs, because the drop downs on the item specifics are searchable. So, like, I always make sure I choose vintage if it's a vintage item. If it's like some artwork that's signed, I always choose yes, it's signed. Like, I hit the key ones that I think are really important that people might filter by. So I would pay attention to those, but I wouldn't get lengthy in a description. I don't even do one, but I would definitely, like, keyword out your title, and then I would do the drop downs, because the drop downs are searchable. So a lot of times if I have 2 colors on an item, I might put one in the title and choose the other one for the drop down, so that both of them are searchable. Just as an example. The only time I don't keyword out is like book titles and like DVDs and video games, because the title's the title and it kind of is what it is. But with a lot of my stuff, like, it could be used for multiple reasons. So I want to grab all of those buyers. Like, somebody's searching for a vase, somebody's searching for a picture, like whatever they're searching for.
And
Mr.
Kat,
Jeremy.
Kat,
go
the
ahead, Sonny.
subtitle, before we finish, that's only seen on the computer, right? Not on your phone?
Yeah. So you'd be paying $6, and I feel like probably, I would say 75% of people, that'd be good to know. I bet somebody's done that research. I bet 75% of people are buying from their phone. And you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see it then. That's the same thing with, like, the condition. You do see it on the phone, but when you're listing from the phone, that little box for, like, if it's used, you can't fill that out on the phone either. You can only fill it out on the computer. So Jeremy's question is, what do you love about reselling?
I love everything about reselling, and I mean the returns as well. Everything I'm trying to do as a reseller, I want to know how to make something better. And if I don't have the hiccups, like, say, returns, even if I do everything as best as I can and the item is in mint condition, described to a T, you're still going to get returns. So I like to see what I could do better about it. And even with returns, that seems to be one of the things I complain about to myself. I don't really share that out there, but I see it a lot in Facebook groups more than anything. And I just try to learn from it and see what I could do to prevent it. But those items end up selling 90% of the time more than what it sold for the first time, and pretty fast when I get it back.
I like just being my own boss. you know, my husband and I both do this together now. And it's our primary income. So, you know, we have to stay on top of everything. But, you know, when we want to take a vacation, we can. We homeschool. We're down to one kid that we homeschool now. So, but when we first started, we initially started with 4 kids. And then one of them realized he didn't like mom as a teacher. So he went on back to public school. And then we finished out with the others. So, but I think that's just being able to do your own thing. I went back to a regular job before he and I got married 10 years ago, and I hated it. I'll never do that again. But yeah, just being our own boss, doing our own thing, sourcing. Of course, everybody loves to source.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely say like the freedom aspect, because I get to do whatever I want. I know what I have to do is like, you know, list and do all that stuff, but I can do it on my own schedule and do what I want. And that's like great. And obviously buying stuff. Big fan of buying stuff. Lots of stuff. All the stuff.
We get to go shopping. We get to go
Yeah,
shopping.
meet
That's
cool
what I did
people,
today for
buy stuff.
hours.
Then you have to list it. But other than that, it's not bad.
It's okay. Yeah, for me, it's being able to be home with Dalton and spend more time with him. He does start pre-K in August. I, unlike Rebel, do not think I have the patience to try and teach him. I think I just don't have it. Now, depending on how he does in school and if we have issues, I might reconsider that. But he, and a lot of people comment on this because he has grown up around only adults. So he talks like a little adult, just some of the phrases he says. Because we don't have other kids his age. My daughter is 20. He's now letting the dogs in the shed. So like I think he needs the interaction. That's a big thing for me. And we're out in the country, so there's not a ton of like activities I could bring him to. So that's the biggest reason for me, was to be home with him and spend more time with him. And I like the aspect of most times the amount of work you put in is going to directly result in how much you're making. So if you need to make more, you can put in more time and you can make more money. So that is definitely one as well. I knew it was coming. That's why I didn't click on the next question. Thank you, Julian. Miss Cicely Sum sent a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here is Dolphin.
Super chat.
Mr. Juan, you're allowed question. Duncan has a limit because Duncan likes to push the question sometimes. So I had to impose a limit on Duncan, but I haven't imposed it on anyone else yet. Juan wants to know what percentage of your sales on average would you say are international, and what is the biggest advice for selling international?
First, make sure that you've actually selected the global shipping program. I like that program. And ever since for some reason it kicked off and people were talking about it on YouTube. And that's when I realized I wasn't getting international sales. So I went back to check. I selected it back, which is very easy. And if you've been reselling for a little while, it'll easily approve you. And if not, it'll tell you what you need to do. But more oftentimes than none is fairly easy. So with that, maybe 1 or 2% of my orders, I at least get 1 or 2 orders per week, I would say. But I dumbed down on my items, so it's a small percentage, but it's a percentage that's moving out rather than regardless if it's domestic or international.
I do global shipping, but I also do some international sales. There's a place on the USPS website that tells you all the countries that you can ship packages to that you actually get delivery confirmation. So I went in and set it all up. So I ship to those countries. There's about, I don't know, maybe 30 or so of them. And so anytime I ship to those countries, I know that I'm going to get a delivery confirmation at some point. So I don't mind, it's Canada and some of the European countries. And but I still don't get a lot. I think I need to turn global shipping off in order to take more advantage of international sales. I think somehow in the algorithm or whatever, eBay pushes the global shipping program more than the international sales. But probably less than 5% though, that is right now.
Sonny, what happened to the global shipping program? You said it got
What happened?
turned off. Yeah, did you say
So,
that?
yeah, for some reason, mine ended up either I turned it off, which was probably way far back, that I may have had an issue with the buyer, like a return, and I was a newbie and got upset and turned it off, or it selected off on his own. But I'm gonna say it was probably the first thing that I said. So I went back and checked, and I just selected it, but that was
The only reason I
what
ask is
happened.
because I haven't had it. Now that this question came up, I haven't had an international sale probably in a month or two. Now that I'm thinking about it, and that's very unusual for me. I usually have at least like 3 to 5 a month, maybe. So I'm gonna check that after the thing. But yeah, usually it's like I don't know, 5% or less, 4% or less. But I haven't had any in a very long time. Very long.
So I say this every time it comes up, I use eBay Standard International for orders that I stand to lose $50 or less. So if my buy cost was 50 or less, I use Standard International because that's way cheaper for the buyer. And there is protection and insurance there. It's just a little more of a pain in the butt than global shipping. It costs less than half for the buyer than it costs global shipping. And then anything I stand to lose more than $50, I do use global shipping. And we honestly probably average 10 to 20%. So today, 12 went out and 2 of those were international. And then over the weekend, we had like 5 or 6 out of 40. So we hold like a decent 10%. And we've had some days where almost 50% of the sales were international. And I will say most of our international goes Standard International to Canada, because like under a pound to Canada, Standard International is only $13. So they'll buy quite a bit of stuff for that $13 of shipping. They do go to different, I think we shipped one to Australia today. I don't remember where the other one was, but I think the Standard International kind of bumps that percent up because the cost is lower for the buyer. And I'm okay as long as I stand to lose less than 50. And I've only once had an issue with Standard International and only once with global as well. And that's over like the last 3 years since we've been doing it. Sonny Collectibles is saying Julian showed repeat customer in a short. Is that new for stores or everyone? So have we seen the repeat? I think all of us have stores. So maybe in the chat, those of you that don't have stores, if you've seen it, definitely let Sonny know. And then we can answer it on the panel.
Julian showed repeat customers in a short.
It shows. I can show it
yeah.
because I have some. I can pull it up.
I put it out on the gram earlier.
I know that I have some.
It's pretty neat.
It is, and that makes me question too. Like, so if you see here, it shows repeat buyer on the bottom. So that's somebody, and I'll actually look at this. This is my Harley pins, okay? Because I had 600 Harley pins, so I have a lot of Harley collectors that are buying. So I will take a little bit lower offer than I would from somebody that I didn't see repeat. So I have seen it quite a bit, and mainly on those Harley pins. So I think you're probably more likely to see it if you're selling like the same kind of item, like those where they're coming back for more. Sonny's checking. I see him.
No, that's new to me. I was trying to check Julian's thing to see it on my phone, but I haven't seen that particular repeat customers. The only thing I'm familiar with as of like 2 weeks ago is actually using sending coupons to previous buyers. But this I believe is different, a different type of repeat customer.
I get lots of repeat customers. A lot of them.
Does yours show? I think it's just like the past like month or so, I feel like, right?
I see it all the time now, yeah. It hasn't been there very long, but I have noticed it for a little while.
I saw it today and I thought it meant it was a repeat sale. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And then I saw like it was twice. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? And now you like scroll over and it says like this buyer has bought from you in the past 2 years, which makes me then think about my coupon thing that I'm like, I don't have repeat customers. Turns out I think I have more than I know.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Noelle is in the house. Hello. Thank you for being here with us. And Miss Anna says, thank you for your service, Rebel. Let me
you.
find us a question. I'm scrolling. Deborah's asking, what does it mean, no activity or reserve not met? I'm thinking like the only time you would see that is if you're bidding on an auction that has a reserve. I can't, or if you set a reserve. So can you guys think of any other? So I wouldn't be concerned just if it's something you're trying to buy, you might have to bid higher than what you expect to.
Yeah. I haven't seen it on my end, but that's the first thing I thought about was when you put items in an auction. And sometimes you, like I said, your fingers it's so repetitive what you do that your fingers just, if you're on your phone, you start clicking away and you may think that you have like a buy it now option, but you might be clicking on the, to bid for somebody to bid on an option. You're just clicking in numbers. So you may have typed it in as in, and this is just thinking about it, that you may have put a reserve number on there, thinking that you had put a better offer, thinking that that was your offer, the minimum. But I believe Kat would be the best answer. I liked her answer a lot.
Same. I think it has to do with auctions.
I agree. Yep.
Okay. Florida woman. I purchased a lot of samplers that are older and completed, but unframed. Will they sell okay unframed? If you do not know, she's talking about cross stitch. So if you don't sell it, feel free to pass that question.
I've done a little bit of cross stitching myself, believe it or not, but I haven't looked for anything to resell with cross stitching.
You've done cross stitch?
Yeah.
Sorry, Rebel. I'm like, I can't picture Sonny cross stitching. I'm like, wait, hold on.
We have to see some of that.
I'm not a crafty
yet,
person.
But I also do like embroidery, hand embroidery, stitching.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a whole wall of like needlepoint and cross stitch stuff, but other people did it for me. I just made a nice thing. But as far as selling it, I've sold it in frames and I've sold it without. It's a whole lot easier to sell it without a frame, because then the shipping is just, put it between cardboard and send it on its way.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
I will say I sell most of mine framed. And I prefer them if they don't have glass, but I will ship them if they have glass. But they will sell okay unframed. You won't have a problem selling them unframed at all. And Rebel's right, for shipping, that definitely will be easier. Look, Duncan arrived late. With eBay's new 30-day page view count, do we have to use promoted listings to get seen on the first page to increase sales?
So back to the iPod that I was saying I sold earlier, it had 0 views, but it had a buyer. So if you actually click on it, it actually shows you a little bit more of the analysis of what's going on behind these numbers and numbers that you don't see. There might actually be some numbers. So with this previous, like last night or the night before, it sold within 4 or 5 minutes. So maybe that's why there's 0 views and it didn't read it right away.
I never look at them. I have 9,000 items. I never look at them. It just, what sells. And, I'm all into doing the whole ending and sell similar right now. And that's what I think is helping me the most.
Yeah, I mean, I would still feel like they just knocked the views down. I wouldn't say that has anything to do with now the promoted listings. I mean, all they're doing is just you're only showing a certain amount of views, and the only one that
you're not seeing the total.
Right, yeah, you're not seeing the total. I don't actually look at it. One did catch my eye the other day. It's a poker chip, and all it says is antique poker chip. It has the date on it, whatever, and it's the ones I picked up at the yard sale, and it has a star on it. It's just a regular star. It's actually like a navigation star. The thing has 10,000 views, right? 0 sold. So there's got to be like a very rare poker chip out there with some sort of star on it that people are looking for that have it saved. And I've been searching for. I can't find one that's like worth $10,000 yet, but I do.
Like, what are they looking for?
What are they looking for, right? It's insane.
I have to say one more thing, though. I noticed, though, the new change that they made in the bulk edit. I accidentally changed the price of something from $48 to $4,800, and that thing got a whole lot of views. A whole lot
Just
of views.
overprice it. Overprice stuff and you'll get the views.
All in.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Rebel because I have almost 5,000 and I don't care about the views. And I did get some messages from quite a few of you guys about that. And my response was, I don't think it matters and I don't focus on that. Because like Sonny's saying, it takes one view to get a sale. Like I don't care about the views. And with 5,000 items, I don't have time to like go and like that is just a waste of time to me. I'm a fan of promoted just for my business model, but that has nothing to do with the views because views don't always necessitate sales. Like Julian's 10,000 views and it still hasn't sold. So,
$4.
you know, that's not always the best indicator.
You had a member and I lost it. Oh,
all right. There's a super chat right after it.
Yep.
So you guys are getting a double dolphin. For my dolphin haters, I am sorry. It is funny because I had a dolphin hater at my Tennessee camp and she spoke up. She's like, I'm a dolphin hater. I know there are those of you that do not like that. Oh, here comes Dalton because he heard there's a dolphin. All right, you ready? There's an ant on me. Okay. All right. Let me give you your dolphin and try and find the ant Dalton says on me.
Welcome to the flipping family.
An ant he was right. He was right. He saved me from getting bit. There was an ant on me. How he saw an ant on my toe, I don't know, but he did. Living It sent a $5 super chat and said, I have accumulated a ton of neckties. Should I try to sell these in apparel or lock them up and sell them for crafting?
Depending on the brands, I ended up going to, I hate to now say like Savers or Goodwill and stuff. I just say thrift stores because they listen to this stuff and I don't want them pricing the things up higher. But regardless, I look at what the more valuable ones that should be sold independently and the ones that seem that they could go together to be lauded for a fair price because the ties are pretty light. You could have like a dozen of them and still go first class. So I would sort them out, and it does take a little bit of work of looking up this stuff. But sometimes with the unique designs, you could use Google Lens and those come right up. But even with those search, you do want to look up the comps. And of course, always check the condition of your item because it may be better. It may be a little less and just be reasonable. Don't overprice on shipping and just make it there.
I don't do ties.
if I did and I had a whole bunch and I wanted to get rid of them and I wasn't like into them a whole bunch of money or anything, I'm lotting them things up. All of them. I'm not going to go through them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to.
And I tried to do ties. I think I watched one of Casey's videos, Rockstar Flipper, like years ago. And some guy, like, that's all he sells is ties. And I'm like, oh, I can sell ties. I cannot sell ties. I will tell you, I cannot sell ties. So I saw the coolest thing when we were up in Pennsylvania in Amish country. It was a tree skirt made of ties, and it was so cool. So I think they definitely would sell for crafts. But I agree with Sonny because, like, I sold some Hermes ties for $50. So I would definitely at least glance at the brands if it were me. I don't think I would spend a ton of time. And then I would maybe search tie lots and see what, like, the most common amount is, you know, like, are they selling them in lots of 20 or 30 or like what's getting the most? And you might want to show pictures of the brands and then put it on auction, like Julian said, because maybe there is a good tie in there and somebody will like drive your bidding up, but start it at the lowest you're willing to take. Don't start it at 99 cents, please.
I also want to add to that, and I'm glad when people start talking, it gets the wheels going to help you out with an abundance of ties. I use, and this goes for like t-shirts. If I lot things up, I want to show the tags, and I put the material inside not only the item specifics, but inside the description. And what I do with the photos, I'll pinpoint something, say, look at the last photo for the materials, and it'll use Instagram, the layout. And you just click all those photos that you have, so that way it pops up into one. So I'm just going to click on photos
Like,
that I took
like
here recently.
a collage.
Right, a collage. So that way it just makes it easier rather than like, hey, I could only use 12 photos. Well, now you could put 12 photos or however much in one photo, and they could easily zoom in. And you could say that in the description as well as zoom in.
That makes sense. All right, here is your dolphin. I gave you guys a dolphin break.
Super chat.
And now I see another dolphin. Let's do a question and then we'll
love
get the
dolphins.
other one. PK Bailey, how do you send an invoice when a customer buys multiple items?
I believe you actually go into your sold listings, go to eBay, sold or selling items. If you click on that and then you go up to sold items, it'll pop up. It's not that easy as you would think, but it's fairly easy. And when you go to it and there's multiple items, on the left panel of that window, you're going to see a little arrow pointing down. You could click on that and then you see the invoice and you could add things to it. Or
there's
not,
multiple ways. There's
Yeah,
multiple
there are
ways to
multiple
get
ways.
to it too.
I go
And-
to the the unpaid. When you're in the seller hub, I go down to the unpaid. And then when you click on just one of the items, it populates all of the things that they bought.
Yeah.
And I just click on send an invoice.
I also do it that way.
Yeah, that's the way I do it as well. All right, Julian, you hit it, and then I got the next question ready. Junk Monkey sent a $10 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do any of you have a niche-specific expert you contact on a regular basis? Like Julian saying he has a watch expert, doesn't use him, but he has one. Maybe it's Junk Monkey. I'm just saying.
I might have an a watch expert. I don't find good watches that I know of.
I think the most recent one that I've used several times, my go-to when it comes to breakables, glass, crystals, items like that, antiques. Even though the niche lady is a very close friend of mine, we don't live too far from each other and we hang out quite often. I've known Tim from over the years for a period of time, for years, to where I have him in my DMs and I'll send him photos. And one thing I will say to this is that when you send photos to somebody or ask questions, make sure you're supporting them first. You could be a new person to them and say, hey, I've seen you on somebody and I got a question. But there's sometimes I get messages myself and I don't know who you are or what you're asking. So when you read your question to somebody, just make sure it's clear and that you follow them and that you're interested. And because sometimes the questions I get, I can't make sense of it. I'm kind of lost in what they're asking. And I want to help as much as possible.
I don't think I have any specific person, but if I have something I'm not familiar with, then I almost always will go find a Facebook page that's about that item, whether it's vintage dolls or vintage collectibles. I'll go find a place and see if I can get some help that way. Like Action Figure ID Group, I'm always in there trying to get help with action figure stuff I'm picking up.
Yeah, I do have a watch expert, and I don't think I've ever used him. I may have sent him a picture one time. I can't remember. But usually mine has to do with research. I like to research, but seriously, if it takes so long to research items, it all depends. And I shoot a lot of pictures to my sister, who's like super good at research. She's like really, really intelligent. And then I'm like, hey, when you get around to it, because I got a lot of stuff to do. If it takes you, a while to get back to me, that's fine. She usually gets back like within a day or so. And so I sent all my stuff to her, really. And so is my dad. She's probably overwhelmed. We should probably pay her if she's watching. You should probably make me pay you.
Yeah, and I have a couple people, but I want to tell you guys, be very wary when you're contacting those of us that make videos. I am getting like 10 to 20 emails a day, and it's getting where I just can't answer them. And I hate that because I like to answer everybody. And people are wanting me to identify things. And like Julian said, research takes sometimes hours, and I don't have time for that. So I do have people, but I'm not going to say their names because I don't want people like flooding them for certain things. But I'm typically pretty good at research, and I definitely recommend, because I know a lot of newer people watch the show, if you can't find it, especially if you don't have a lot of disposable income, leave it there, because you'll end up picking up a lot of stuff that might not sell. So I would just say be very, very wary. Like me, if I can't find it, especially if it's a little more expensive, and for me that means like $5 or $10 because I'm a dollar buyer. I like dollar stuff. If it's more expensive, then I am going to, if I can't find it, I will leave it there, even now, and And this time has been 3 years, but I've been doing it off and on since 99. So I have a lot of experience, and you'll gain more knowledge and you'll know what sells, even if you can identify it. But if you're new, I really hate to see people put all this money out and then they can't find it, or it's not worth anything. And it can be really, really frustrating when you're new if stuff isn't selling. And I think that's what our next question is. But first, I'm going to give the watch. Now you just threw yourself out there as a watch expert, so they're going to find you. Here's your dolphin.
Super chat.
I thought I had another question. Where did it go? I'm going to answer this because I had to do this. So there is a way to combine accounts on eBay, and I did it using List Perfectly. So I copied all the stuff from my second store into the List Perfectly catalog. Then I ended every single listing, and then I took them from List Perfectly and copied them onto my main eBay store. And it made life so much easier. My custom SKU was there, my titles, my pictures. So even if you don't use it to cross post, like paying for like a month of that just to be able to move your items would be very beneficial. And I know I talked to somebody who just bought her sister's eBay store, and I recommended that. So that's definitely a way to do it. I'm trying to find, there was another question and now I can't find it. I'm like, where did it go? Oh, it was Miss Pam. Does promoting and running sales help to get seen and make sales faster? I've been on a week, no sales yet. Some likes, some saves.
I want to pass this to Rebel Reseller right here, because she just had a video talking about this in the beginning, and then I'll go second. It was a great thing, and it's very fresh here. She has an intro to an intro is her last video, and the one before that is the one where I believe she's talking about in the What Sold video.
I have constant sales always. I run them usually like Monday through Thursday. I'll run one sale and then I run another sale for the weekend. I have found if I don't have a sale on, I'm making 0 sales. Well, you know what I mean. But I also do promoted listings. I do right now. I just upped it, trying to just see if it would help, because sales have been really slow considering how much I have listed. So I did I think it based on something I heard from Kat. I do the trending set price, and it's this month's been a whole lot better. So I'm hoping that that's going to help a lot. But yeah, I always have, and everything starts out, and I have best offers. I do everything to try to entice people to purchase my items. But always.
Yeah. With my one thing I used to do before was do markdown prices, and I changed that probably about 3 months ago to I started using promoted advertisement listings where it's like 1%. The most I'll do is 2, and these are only on items that I've had for some time now. And I'll put a coupon out along with that for say 10% off. I think the max is like $100. It's kind of like the norm of what it has on eBay, and send that out to previous customers, or just have it open to the public, just an open coupon. And I've been finding that has been helping a lot on older items. I don't use it on newer items because they're new, they're fresh, and they're a lot better items than what I was getting before when I was, say, a newbie buyer. For me, buying things that I thought was money, not realizing that there's sell-through rate and all these other things. I was just buying it because I saw a listed price. It looked good to me, and I went with it, and that was just my rookie mistake.
Yeah, I would say that anything you can do to help entice a buyer is good. I think promoted listings work. I think running sales work. I don't run sales continuously. I run them like maybe I've been doing them twice a month now, and I only do them on the weekend. Those months are higher than the rest, but I don't do it all the time just because that I priced my items competitive starting out. So it's like if I were to run a sale at 10%, 15%, really, I'm way below where I kind of want to be. If I did that continuously, I don't mind doing that for a weekend, see what sells. But all my prices are pretty competitive. And the stuff that I don't really promote is going to be golf clubs. If they're like, I don't promote any of the high-end golf clubs. They'll sell themselves. They'll sell in a month, or they'll sell in whenever, but I need to get that money for them. Because I
picked up a tailor-made burner today. I didn't even look it up. It was $1.99 at Goodwill.
Send
I'm like,
it to me.
I'm gonna
I'll
just
give you
put that in the cart. The shipping's expensive. Oh, I need a UPS box.
UPS.
So I also run consistent sales. I run one Monday through Friday, the other one Friday through Monday. It's never off more than 8 hours. I do price up in order to run my sale. But my prices end up about 5 to 10% below the average. So I do try and come in under, but I have a lot of one-off items that I'm the only one. And again, this is why I like the 4-person panel, because you're hearing all of these different ways we're doing it. I promote everything at trending +3. I promote really high because I buy really low. So I typically buy at 10% or lower. So I am okay paying more. And like we're at 14,000 in sales this month. Our average over the last 2 years is 10,000. So we're up about 4,000. And as far as like being on a week, I had this conversation, I think with 2 or 3 people in the last couple days. And I want all of you that are new to know this. Reselling is a long-term game. It is not fast. You are not going to see like immediate results. You're not going to get, unless you're getting very, very popular items, which would be nothing that I sell. Like I don't do overly popular items. Like if you were getting hot video games or like Sonny's iPod he got, you know, stuff that really, really is popular, you can expect stuff to take months to sell. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get, like, I didn't see regular sales until I had over 500. And even when I had 500 listed, that was maybe 1 a day, sometimes 2. So it's definitely not like a fast, like, return on your time. It's definitely a longer, it's a longer game depending on how you source. My first show co-host, though, Chris, he had like 150 listed and like 500 sold because he only sourced really popular items. And what I mean by that is when you look something up on eBay, there'll be 10 listed and 100 sold. So if you pick that up, it's going to sell fast. And some people only source that way, but if you like the vintage and the one-off, that stuff's going to take a little bit longer to sell. And it's very easy to get frustrated, but I try to impress this. Like, it's hard. Like, Rebel has 9,000. I have 5,000. Like, Julian, I think you're at like 2,000, right? Yeah. So, I mean, don't compare yourself with a couple hundred to people that have a couple thousand or 5,000 or 9,000, because until you get to that level, you're not going to have it. And it's really hard if you're expecting it, because like you're watching us and yeah, we're having all these sales, but for the last 3 years, on average, I list 20 to 30 items a day. I put a lot of work into it to get to where I'm at. So just keep listing. That's the big thing. Set a goal, whether it's 5 or 10, unless you're crazy like me and Julian, like we can pop out 30 to 50 in a day really easy. So, I mean, if you're wanting a faster return, you need to work more, basically. You're gonna get out what you're putting in. So don't expect it all to sell fast.
And they do have way bigger numbers than what I have listed. Again, I'm only on eBay and I have 341 items listed, but that does not include, I want to make it clear, what I sell on Whatnot, which I average per show is like maybe $200. And again, I'm clearing up space. These are older things, and I'm averaging around $9,000 to $10,000 per month. And I want to increase this. I want to get up to $20,000. And I know by doing so, I just need to be better organized. And YouTube's a different thing. I've asked Kat for pointers, and maybe we'll talk about that later, because all of this is reselling. But there's also YouTube questions that I hope people start asking Kat. We had
a few YouTube questions last week. We talked about it because we are getting where people are asking us it, and for Julian and I both, I think it's kind of like pretty new to us. I know. Oh, that's on 40,000 while we're live. Julian hit 40,000. I hit 40,000 last week. So yeah, it's new to us though. It is new. I have chills. I have chills talking about it. It's crazy.
I got chills for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sonny's been around my channel since the very beginning. Like, I think he was around before I had even 1,000. Like, I was a baby channel when I met Sonny.
Yeah, like 2018 maybe.
19 was when I think it was when I first
19.
started. Yeah. Sonny's been around since the beginning. So he's been with me through like this whole journey. We've been friends. So yeah, it's not a fast game. It's not a fast game. Just be patient and just keep putting the work in, and it will pay off. It will pay off. It just takes time. Julian, do you have a yes? Thank you.
Boom. On the ball.
Jennifer Masters, aka Strictly Thrifty. That is almost a tongue twister. I accidentally did not require immediate payment on an eBay listing and the item sold. The buyer has not paid. How long should I wait before canceling the order?
So with this, I didn't know in the beginning that you could set up a time frame of when you want your items to be canceled on their own through eBay and automatically be relisted. But even with that, I find items not to be relisted through eBay, and I have to go look at these things. And I believe 100% of my items are all immediate payment required, and I still get this. So it doesn't work in my book. And you could, if it takes 3 days or however the long time frame is that eBay alerts you on, make sure first send the payment reminder, and then if after that they're not replying back, check with eBay or the time frame, and then cancel it on your own. Because that's one thing I can't stand is when something's just sitting there. Because if you're not making money, neither is eBay as well. So I hope they actually fix this and make it stricter to what it's saying.
Yeah.
I'm totally the opposite. I do not require immediate payment at all. And I don't get a whole lot of non-paying bidders, probably 5 or so a month. But I have a lot of people who buy over days, and they tell me, I'm going to pay you on the 15th. And I'm fine with that because I very seldom have somebody who doesn't pay. So, I've never required it because, I want people to be able to pay when they're ready.
Most of mine is going to come from when I take an offer, and then usually I didn't even want to take that offer, but I need to make a sale that day, and then they don't pay, but I give them 3 days, and then I give them the most amount of time eBay allows. I do send a payment reminder within a day or day and a half if I see that it's still up there, and if I get a response like, oh, I'll pay you in like 4 days, I'll be like, okay, and I'll hold out. And I'm pretty fair about that. But if I get no response, no communication, as soon as that thing tells me I can cancel it without, then that's what happens.
Sorry, Dalton says he's hungry, so he needs to go in the house. And I told him I'd message Daddy, and he says no, he's going to call Daddy. So he went to the back of the shed.
You didn't tell him what to do.
Yeah, he's a mess. First, I wanted to say, because I kind of got off track, like Sonny having almost 10,000 a month with 400 items is like absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I will say that. So like kudos on that. That's great. I also, like Rebel, do not require immediate payment because I would say like over 75% of my items sell as best offer, which negates immediate payment anyway. So I just don't turn it on. And like with the Harley pins and stuff, we've been getting a lot of combined ones. So they wait for me to send them a combined invoice before they pay, versus me having to go back and refund them. So that's why for me, I don't do it. As far as the waiting to cancel, eBay's policy is 5 days. You can cancel it. And eBay, sometimes it's not 100%. It's kind of weird. Like at 5 days, some people they'll cancel and then other people they won't. I'm not sure what, like, so some I have to manually cancel. It's not a ton, but like Sonny said, they don't auto relist it, which is a pain in the butt. So if I don't notice that I have a canceled order, like then that stuff doesn't get relisted. But for me, if I haven't heard from them, I wait the 5 days if eBay hasn't canceled it. But I don't, like Rebel, I do not get a ton of non-paying bidders. All right, Miss Jennifer, here is your dolphin, and I see another one from Miss Noel.
Super chat.
Thank you so much. Dalton is crying, so I might disappear for a minute. Miss Noel sent a $20.22 super chat. Thank you.
2022.
Says congrats on 40K. No. Hold on. I think I hit 42K right before we went live. Let me see. I am 5 away from 42K.
Ooh, close.
Come on, folks. He did it.
5 away. So if there are 5 of you, we have almost 550 people in chat. So thank you guys for watching. I need 5 of you to get me. Make sure you're still subscribed to get me to 42,000.
There you go.
So Noelle, thank you. Yes. She is followed before I was at 1,000K. 1,000K. That's like 1 million. I'm not near that. Before I'm like dreaming big. Before I was at 1,000 as well. So thank you so much.
What is that?
That is Miss Noelle, and she put some emojis up there.
How later?
Crazy her. Okay. All right. We're gonna give her a dolphin. Okay. He's hungry. All right. Here's your dolphin, Noelle.
Super chat.
Hold on 2 seconds. I was messaging Brad, telling him the kid is hungry. He would like to come inside. Sleepless in 2012. I'm gonna assume this is for me. Where do you research teacups? You've exhausted the internet. I have a Radford's bone china teacup saucer with blackberry theme. I've looked through pics, Google Lens it, and nothing. So for me, if I cannot find a teacup, Dalton just walked outside. I don't know if Daddy is out there and left the door open. So when I find teacups, if I can't find them, number one, I typically won't buy them because I've been sorely disappointed with teacups that I thought were gorgeous and would sell for tons and they're worth like $10. So I typically won't pick them up if I can't find them. And then, but the only other research for me is either replacements.com is a good one. And I actually forget to say that all the time. They're a really good reference point. If you have like the brand, hold on, Daddy's coming. Hold on. And then the other one is WorthPoint, which is a paid subscription, but they do a 7-day free trial. That you can look stuff up. So I find a ton on WorthPoint because that has a 10-year history, and that would be where I would go. I don't spend a ton of time researching. If I cannot find it, I will price it wherever I think it should be and list it because I don't believe in spending hours and hours researching something that might be worth $10. So I would just go by how fancy it is and price it. Hold on. Let me find another question. What?
I think you went all the way you went all the way to the bottom where Noelle's super chat was after I clicked it.
Hold on. I'm scrolling up.
Daddy wants me to go and I find my own.
He wants you to go inside on your own. I don't think so. Hold on. Mommy will find a question, and then Mommy will run you inside. I don't even know where I was at. I didn't know I did that. All right, here's a good question. Do you sell Christmas year-round? I'm going to go run Dalton.
Okay. Yes, I do. That goes with winter items, jackets, and Halloween stuff. That stuff sells year-round, especially when they're vintage, good condition. So it's always different for somebody. People have, like us as resellers, have niches for the most part. People have things they collect, and they don't just collect it seasonally. They try to find it year-round so they don't miss out on previous stuff.
I buy tons of seasonal stuff at mostly estate sales, and I list them all year and I sell them all year. And, I just sold, after Easter, I sold Easter molds, blow molds, and I sell Christmas ornaments all year. I collect the Fisher Price Little People. So I start looking at like during the summer when people are trying to sell their stuff to go find the ones that I don't have yet. So it's just, it sells all year round. And like he said, Halloween, Thanksgiving, all of it sells.
I agree 100%. I just sold like a foam head that was like Halloween. It was a jack-o'-lantern, sold like 2 days ago. So I definitely list it. And I don't really budge too much on the price though. If I list it, I'm listing it as in like I'm gonna hopefully it sells in like November for that price. So I would only go down a certain much. It's not like I know it's gonna sit there a little bit longer. It sells year round, of course, but it sells better during Christmas. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it'll sell for more during Christmas too. I sell Christmas year round. I just sold a $200 ornament, I think 2 weeks ago. So especially if it's like vintage collectible Christmas, it definitely will sell year round, and it can still sell for good money. I'm like Julian though, like with my ceramic Christmas trees, I price them high. And then I know I might not get somebody willing to pay that much until Christmas, and I'm okay with that. But I go ahead and list it. I don't like hold off listing anything until a particular season or holiday, because it really does. And it sells year round. And as far as like clothing and jackets and stuff, if you have international on, I bet you that weather is somewhere in this world and they could still buy that. So just make sure of that. I found exactly where I was at because I remember the question. Pixie Picker wants to know, do we ship every day?
Just about every day now. And Kat talked about it earlier with the question about things being slow and not selling. I would say with that, I wanted to add to that question. I'm glad we got back to this one to remind me of it. When things aren't selling, don't second guess what you're doing. If you know you did a good title, you did description and item specifics, don't go back and say, if I lower the price, it's going to sell faster. Don't do that to yourself, especially if you have items that need to be listed. Just keep rolling forward. After a while, say a month or two, and you look at your items and you could fix up, say, a photo, I would say do that. For shipping now lately, as of this month, now that things have picked up, especially on eBay, I've been shipping, I would say maybe 3 days out of the month that I probably didn't have something to sell, only because the item probably came in around midnight and I'm going to drop it off during the hours of the post office at UPS, FedEx, or USPS.
I ship Monday through Friday. And when it's no longer yard sale season, then I'll even ship on Saturdays. But I have 1 day handling, so I need to do it anyway. So, but I have stopped on Saturdays, which makes Monday quite tedious.
I've changed to 2-day shipping, but I usually ship, the next day. So I do ship Monday through Friday. I did ship Saturday just because of that reason right there. I had a ton that was sold on like Friday and Saturday, like morning. And I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and send these things out because if I have the same Sunday as I did late Friday and Saturday, this is going to be a lot of shipping. So I actually went ahead and just bit the bullet and did it. We did something else on Saturday. We didn't go yard sailing. But usually Monday through Friday. And when it gets into the fourth quarter, then I ship on Saturdays also.
Yeah, and I am exactly. So we ship Monday through Friday. Probably a year ago, I decided like I'm not going to make myself ship on Saturdays just to have like an extra day off. And I, like Julian, have changed it to 2-day handling. That way, like if we don't feel good or there's too many, then I don't have to do it, but we do it. And the only time I ship Saturdays is if Monday's a federal holiday. Then I'm like, okay, I need to get these people's stuff out. So that's the only exception for me. And that's just because I want a little bit more of a break. I went to actually my video tomorrow is a yard sale I went to this Saturday. And I actually woke up early. Julian would be proud of me because normally I'm like, I'm not waking up for that. But here's the thing. I got there 15 minutes after they opened and somebody beat me to the vintage tees. But I still got a few. I still got some. But they said, oh, somebody went through and took them all. And I'm like, I was here 15. Like, I got up. I didn't get there when they first opened. And I still,
that person was there 30 minutes early.
I got some amazing stuff. But I have so much inventory. I really need to stay away. Like thrifting today for me, which I filled up my car, was simply for therapy. That was it. I mean, I don't need the inventory, but I've been so stressed out and I love thrifting. So me and Lily, and we had ice cream. We went and had ice cream. It was fun. We had a fun day today. Me and Lily did. Kathy P. And I saw there are a few, so we're going to hit you guys with dolphins for a few minutes. Kathy P. became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Here is your dolphin. Oh, whoops. I almost hit the wrong dolphin. I got the right.
Welcome to the flipping family.
And then Miss Andrea, do you have free return? Do you have to have free returns on everything to qualify for Top Rated Seller Plus?
I do not have free returns. I have the customer pay for it. But with that, I do at times, depending on the situation, refund the person the shipping costs, and I am still a top rated seller.
Are you plus though?
Not plus.
I don't. There's like a minute difference, but
I am not elite. I need 500 listings and more.
oh, okay.
I think you have to have free returns to get the plus. I do free returns. I don't get a whole lot of returns. And now that we started selling clothing this past year, that's been the bane of selling clothing, is having free returns. But I do it because I want the 10% final value fee credit. Because, you know, if you're selling 100,000 a year, your fees are like 12,000 a year. Your 10% is 1,200.
I wish my fees were 12,000 a year. That's all.
You
I'll
know
say.
what I mean. But you know what? Yeah, 14,000, and then that 10%. That's a lot. I do not have that many returns. So
do you know, Rebel? Do you know? Do you have to have 1 day? Somebody told me you don't get the discount without 1 day handling. Because if that's the case, I'm gonna have to switch mine back because I want my discount.
I think you do have to have 1 day.
Well,
and you have to
because
have
my
free.
fees are more like 3,000 a month.
Yes.
I pay more like 30,000 in fees a year.
Yes. So yeah, and it's well worth it.
That 10% would be $3,000 for me. Okay, yep. I'm gonna have to go tonight or tomorrow and go back to 1 day handling and suck it up. And I ship every day. I ship every day anyway. All right. So I think we answered it. Hold on, let me give her dolphin.
Oh, hold on. Boom.
We missed a dolphin. All right, Andrea, here you go. We answered her question.
Luckily,
I was giving him a dolphin break.
Super chat.
All right. And then we will have another dolphin for Miss Stacy. Thank you. And again, tomorrow I will put out on my community page, or tonight, as well as I'll post it on my Instagram, the member benefits. A lot of people don't realize, but I do 6 to 8 lives for the members that are separate from my regular videos. So I do a lot for my channel, and most of them are 4 hours long. So yeah, so we do a for the channel.
She might. Cat, you still there? Blink once.
Did it work?
Welcome to the flipping family.
Listen, I don't even know. Like my thing started spinning. All of our pictures started spinning. And I did see a question, and I don't know if it was when I was scrolled down, asking if you could request for looking at eBay. So I do eBay store reviews once a month for my $1.99. It's my lowest membership. We do it once a month, and it is going to be changed to June 16th is going to be the next one. It's a Thursday. I was going to do it the 9th, and that happens to be my husband's birthday, and I think he might get upset with me. So I made it to the next one. Let's see. Question for Kat. Do you wash or spot clean stains or rust on your linens and hankies? I do not. I do not like washing anything. I list them and sell them as is. I just make sure I take really good pictures of them. I will wash them if they're dirty, unless they have a sticker. If they have a sticker and are vintage, I'm not going to touch them. But if they smell bad, I will wash them. And if they have dirt on them, I will wash them. But like rust stains and stuff that is harder to get out, I'm not going to put the time into it just because they're, $10, $15, $20. And I don't think it is worth the time. Deborah is one of the people that I had a chat with. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to call her out for what we chatted about. But you are very, very welcome. And as you guys, chatting in this live is a great way to make friends and talk to other people and see if they're going through the same thing you are, because a lot of times they are. And it definitely can be frustrating. It can be stressful if you're not getting sales. And then you go see me showing, oh, here's all my sales for the weekend. And this weekend, I only had 23 go out, which is really low for me, But come in and make friends. I know some people in the chat have made friends in person and go thrifting together, which is awesome to hear. And it's funny because people have met at high bid auctions that were like my viewers and are like, oh, I want, like, somehow my name got brought up at the auction pickup and they have met in person, which is awesome. So yeah.
That is awesome.
What message will a blocked buyer see if they try to purchase from you?
I don't know what they see, but I know if I block somebody, I try to send them an offer because they're watching something, I'll get a little window saying you cannot send this because they're blocked. A little window. I don't know what.
Yeah, like it's not eligible to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I get them a lot, but I have a very, very, very long block bidder list because anybody.
Well, and if you block the non-paying too, if you block the non-paying bidders and they're who's watching your item, it'll tell you they're not eligible for that too. In addition to your block list.
I don't know what it says, but it would be super cool if you could write your own. Right?
Sorry, you have pissed me off in the past and may not buy from my store. Have a nice day. Yeah. So I don't know. Tanya said what she was trying to say is that it says that I pay for returns. I do free 30-day returns because that helps. Like, one of the benefits of being top rated and doing free 30-day returns is if they open a return and they try to leave you a negative feedback, eBay removes it. And I love that. And I think it has saved me a lot of negative feedbacks. I think it's probably 50-50, but if you're like those of us here tonight that are bigger that want that discount and fees, we're going to do free 30-day returns to get the discount and the fees because it is quite significant if you're selling a large volume.
Oh yeah.
Hanford findings: if needlework is framed but the framing isn't great, would you take it out and sell it unframed?
Go ahead, Kat. It's all yours.
Well, like I think me and Rebel both said earlier, like, so I would say yes. I would definitely take it out if the frame is like in poor condition. Some of them are in like those cheap plastic frames if they were like the kits from the store. So that would be something that I might omit. But I think if the frame detracts from the piece, I would take it out.
Definitely.
Let's see.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's get this opinion. This is almost.
I have never sold anything. Should I start with buy now or auction? Kat, open your eyes, please.
She's thinking about it. She wants to give
the
best answer.
So how do you think? Oh, she's back.
I'm like, I'm not thinking about it. I'm sitting here like shaking my hand at the computer is what I'm doing. Okay, so Dee Dee says she's never sold anything. Should you start with buy it now or auction? I was saying, I think when I started spinning, this is a soapbox topic for me. So Sonny, what do you say to that?
Should I start? I would put buy now. If you're going to do an auction, from my experience, I wouldn't put it at $1 if it's worthy of much more. Do what you're willing to let it go as, because I feel from what I've seen, I need followers on eBay, which you can have as well, of people who are used to what I'm selling, like a niche. And I'm going to say Rebel Reseller here has plushes and things and repeat buyers that she recognizes. And I think she has them because she has her niche and customers who know what she likes because that's what they like. And they mesh well together. And with auctions, don't put something at $1 if it's worth $200. I would put it at the minimum of something that's profitable to you, and then just test it. If it doesn't sell, don't be upset about it, and then put it over on buy now or better offer option.
I only do auction on things that I'm just not quite sure. I can't find any comps on them. But again, it always starts, and I hardly ever sell them when I put them on auction, so I don't even know why I bother. But I would also say if you're a new reseller, do buy it now, but do not put best offer on there because you're going to get the scammers, the ones that are coming on saying text me or phone me or whatever. Just don't do best offer. Just at first buy stuff to get your feedback up, and then don't do best offers.
Yeah, as a brand new, I would definitely be doing buy it now, because the auction thing, I would get a little bit more experience. I'm a big fan of auctions. I do sometimes I'll get in this mood and I'll do a whole bunch. I'll do 40 in a month, and then I'll trickle off, and then I'll, so I'm a big fan of them. I think they're pretty cool, and they do work. I've had things go higher, and then I've sold things for what I basically put on and only got one bid, but I was willing to take that anyway. But as a new seller, I would always do buy it now.
Yeah, I recommend to all of my new people that I do like one-on-one coaching with, I recommend buy it now, because I think as a new seller, it's really hard to distinguish when you should auction. And with experience, you get that. I would say the exception is if you're doing your comps and looking up that item on eBay. If in the solds you see they are mostly auctions with lots of bids, like rare brooches or like really, really popular name brand stuff, then I would say do an auction. But 9 times out of 10, probably 9.9 times out of 10, especially if you're new, I would do buy it now. And I say this, I know a lot of people came to me from Jocelyn Crazy Lamp Lady, and they see her model of starting everything at $4. And I say it over and over, but if you don't have 200,000 plus followers, do not do that model. You will lose money and it will suck. I cannot even do that. I couldn't even do that model. I would lose money. So I think a lot of people watch her and they see that and they almost want to like copy that. And it does not work out how they think. And I see that in my store reviews a lot as well. So I would just say if you're new, be very, very cautionary. And like Sonny said, start it at the lowest amount you're willing to take. Don't start at $1. Start it at 20 if that's the lowest. Then if you get one bid, you're happy it sold in a week. But don't start it lower than you're willing to take. All right. Kathy has a question for Rebel. It says, Rebel, I know you love to find vintage Fisher Price toys. So what's your favorite brand of vintage plush to find?
Right here's all my Fisher Price that I've started collecting just since I started the channel, which was, I've only been doing the channel for a year. So
Wow.
this part's all new to me. But I like vintage plush also. So believe it or not, one of my favorite to find is Walmart, Eden, Animal Fair. I'm trying to think of some of the others that I like. Commonwealth.
Do you pick up Rushton?
I never find Rushton.
I haven't found it either, but I know it's big money.
I know. I actually saw what I thought might be a Rushton at an estate sale. We got there, I think, an hour early, and we were number 75, on the first day of an estate sale. So no, it was gone before I ever even blinked an eye. But I keep waiting. I want to find one of those cute rabbits or chicks. And
Greg finds them all the time. Rocky Mountain Resale finds them all the time. He's in Colorado, so maybe they're more prominent there, but I have not found one either.
I mentioned in one of
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, I mentioned in one of my lives one day that one of my favorite, I have this dream that I'm going to show up at a yard sale and they're going to have a box of jammy pies. If you look them up, they're Play School jammy pies. And I swear I've got one viewer who in the last month has found 2 of them at the Goodwill bins. 2. Her name's Holly up in New York. And it's like, I have waited my whole life. I have found them before, but now I really want to find one just to put on my wall. And I can't find one for nothing.
Yeah. I had a viewer find a paperweight, good money paperweight at the Goodwill bins recently too. So and she's like, I don't know how it's not broke, but it's crazy. Miss Dee Dee says, I've never sold anything. What kind of items should I start with? Should I start with low end or $100 items? I pick up all kinds of items from plush, shoes, pottery, and glass.
If you've never sold anything, Rebel said it earlier that if you're a new reseller, I'm going to say on eBay, you will be hit up with scams and you're going to get private messages. Those are brick and mortar prices. Don't listen to those. Make sure your item's listed correctly. Get a few of the higher ones out, know what it's worth, and then throw in some of the other ones. But after you get some items listed, look at every item that you list just as valuable as the higher end item, because they're all worth something. You paid for it, make money off of it, get your reviews up, and that definitely does help.
I would suggest sticking with just a little of all of it, but I sell a whole lot of stuff that is in the $8 to $12 range. I think I've talked about this on my channel before. Robert went in for last year's sales for the entire year. Anything that I sold that was $8.99 or less. Now, I don't do free shipping. So $8.99 or less, when he tabulated that up, it paid our mortgage for an entire year. So, don't poo-poo the small dollar stuff, because most people can afford an $8 or a $12 and for me, like, my cost of goods is very low. Toys you can get for a quarter or 50 cents or $1 at the most. I make a few exceptions, but buying something for a quarter and selling it for $8 or 10 or 12. I mean, and then doing that over and over and over again. I think when you're first starting, try to get, what's the word I hear them say? You want to get that conversion, because that's what's getting your stuff seen. You want to sell some quick stuff. So a lot of times that's going to be your lower dollar stuff, unless you just have that item that everybody's looking for.
First I looked up jammy pies, and I'll be looking for those because I didn't know they sold for like $150 to $200. So that's what I was doing there. I know what a jammy pie is now. Look at
Yes.
Look it out.
Now
on my
I have
gram.
to look it up because I don't
look
know.
them up. Oh yeah, they're
They're
cool.
very unique.
It's not what you think though. I was thinking something totally different in my head what a jammy pie would be. So anyway, I mean, as a new reseller, like Sonny just said, you're going to get hit with a whole bunch of like scams, especially over $100 items. But I don't know how many. I don't even sell a lot over $100 items because I don't find them a lot. So I like the definitely the lower end. Like I like the $10 to $15 to $20 range. That's what I actually like. 'Cause I sell a lot of that. And what they just said is that a lot of people, that's what they can afford. $100 items I love. I have some in the store and everything, but they don't sell very often. I had one yesterday, $150 I think golf club, but that won't sell every day. There's no way. That's so. As a new seller, also. You're talking about like pottery and glass. If you haven't shipped these types of things, make sure your weight's correct. All that stuff has to come into play. If you're going to do a plush, that would be, start easy. That's what I kind of would.
Yeah.
Shipping big glass items that are worth $100 would be just.
It's fine, Julian.
It is.
Fine.
Yeah. I mean, I shipped a teapot the first time. I was scared to death.
Yeah, I would say a mix. I agree with a mix, but if you're some people are really limited on eBay when they're new to 10 items. Some are limited to 250. One of my new coaching students today had 1,000. I think because she's been buying on there and had an account on there for a few years. I would do a mix. I sell $3 and $5 items. Like, I have no shame. It all adds up. And you're not going to get those expensive sales every day. We got lucky. We were actually sitting at $20 yesterday at 9 at night. And then I sold $150 8-inch painting. And they also bought a $78 one. So all of a sudden I was at $300 when I was sitting at 20 the whole day. So I think a mix would be good. But when you're new, I would pay a little more attention to brands and sell through, because I think you want to sell more to build up your feedback. So I would try and list your more popular items, like your glass. If you have Fenton and named glass that's more popular and going to sell faster, I would do that. Same thing with pottery. If they're known pottery makers, I would list those first, because you want to get those sales to get rid of the scammers. Once your feedback score increases, you're not going to get as many. Honestly, I don't think I've had any in over a year. But I would definitely do a mix and pay attention to how fast that stuff is selling. Okay. I don't put these up often, but I like Jeremy, so I'm going to. Jeremy wants to know what's a that doesn't mean I don't like you if I don't put your question up. I just thought of how that sounded. What's a non-reseller hobby you have?
2 things. Number 1 is going to be a foodie. Love food. It's my weight habit. And second, I'm very passionate about drawing. I've been drawing since I was a kid. and I love illustrating characters, little chubby characters like myself and other people that I come across.
I read when I'm not eBay. I get up at 5 in the morning and I start working. So by 5 in the evening, I'm pretty much done and I read. But my live people thought this was hilarious. I read Zombie Apocalypse always, constant, hundreds of books, thousands of books, because that's just what I like reading. So that's all I do. Work and read.
I'm a picture guy.
I like anything really outdoors. Fishing, one of my bigger hobbies. Working on stuff, like we've been working on trucks for the last, like, I think 3 days. So we got that going on. My dad's coming tomorrow. We're gonna do more truck work, so all of our vehicles are falling apart because it's hot outside. And then that's really about it. Fishing, truck working. Yeah, Florida, it gets hot and like things start happening to vehicles real quickly. And that's really about it. I work. Oh yeah, and not it's hobby. It wasn't really. It's not a hobby now. It was YouTube. Now it's like serious, but it was a hobby.
Now it's a job.
Now it's a job. Yeah, it was a hobby earlier.
Kind of switches at some point. I am the same as Julian. Like, I love the outdoors. Like, we have like nature preserve state parks here. We go dirt road riding. Dalton can get out of his car seat, sit in the front. We look for gators. We saw a ton of turkeys last time. So we'll go out there and just drive for a couple of hours. And we go fishing while we are out there. We caught some fish last time, which was fun. Dalton threw one back and then he would not touch them because he was scared they were going to poke him with their fins. Yeah. So we love the outdoors. I love the ocean. We're about 25 minutes from the Gulf. And yeah, so anything outdoors and water is what I love. I'm thinking of starting, I know, and everybody's like, Kat, don't do it. Because I have too many already. But I'm thinking of starting, I used to make concrete leaves and paint them, like leaf forms from the leaves in my yard. And I think I'm going to start that once I feel not stressed. That might help me not feel stressed. I don't know. Maybe I should start it earlier. Miss Kim over on Facebook. So we're streaming Facebook as well. So thank you guys over there for watching us. Kim wants to know, how much do your sales go up during the holidays and what months are those?
I believe mine starts kicking in around October. And when that happens, I start looking at items, not so much like Thanksgiving. I'm looking at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all the other in-between holidays from them. Being that I was in the military and traveled, I've learned a lot of what people are into and looking for only because of the travels. So I would say, in short, October is when it kicks off for me up until mid-January, where I still get items that are Christmas-like and holiday things.
I think because I sell a lot of vintage toys, like plush, people at Christmas time are starting to look for stuff like to replace a lost toy from their childhood. So probably like September, I start getting better sales. This last fourth quarter was the worst in 23 years. It was just awful. I made more in January than I did during fourth quarter. But normally, when all things are normal, it starts about September for me. And then it just, by December, it's excellent.
I think my strongest month is actually, I think last time it was January. This year, I mean, better than last year. And then November is usually my stronger month. I have a pretty hard spike up there, but it doesn't really go around a whole bunch. I have a lot when it comes into like golf season. It'll start picking up like when it gets starting to get warm. And then when it starts to cool off again from summer, I have 2 spikes in those months. But I think that's about it. And they're actually bigger than my fourth quarter spikes.
Yeah. Oh, am I frozen?
You're back. I can see you.
Can you guys see me and hear me?
Yep.
This internet's driving me crazy. I don't get a spike at all for the holidays. I haven't for the past 3 years. And when I was doing it in the 90s, I didn't get one either. And I prefer it that way because I would prefer my income stay steady all year round. And I think it's because I almost am the opposite of like Rebel saying, I feel like the vintage and one-off, I feel like isn't necessarily Christmas gift type things. And I feel like that's why I don't see the spike. That might, but I don't do a bunch of like vintage, like the toys. I don't do a bunch of the like brings back. Can I not think of the word? What's the word? Sonny, help me.
Nostalgia.
Thank you, Rebel. I'm like, what is the word?
I don't
So
say
I
words
don't do a
can't
bunch
spell.
of like nostalgia items. I do, more glass and pottery that's not necessarily nostalgic. So I typically don't see a bump, and I am perfectly okay with that, because if I can stay even keel all 12 months, I'm good with that, because I know a lot of people, like, over half their business is just in 3 months, and I would not like that. I would not like it at all. Mr. Rick, thank you, by the way, for dropping links for everybody tonight. We appreciate you doing that for us. Richard wants to know, how do you store your items, and do you have an inventory system?
Woo. My inventory system starts off with being organized, which took me from 2016 up until yesterday. I spent around 6 to 7 hours in the garage alone, being organized. That's what I'm going to say. Be organized. If you have the space, envision how you want it set up as you grow. Because as a reseller or an entrepreneur or an artist, whatever you want to do, you have to have that vision of how things are going to go, and not little by little. Just, you don't have to get everything at once. Use the things. This is what I do when I want to buy something, say like a new computer. I look at what I need to sell on eBay rather than taking it out of my bank account, and use that to fund my projects. And that motivates me more than anything. But motivation is also one of those things where you have to be passionate about what you do as a reseller or anything that you want to do. And then my inventory system, because I only have 341 items, like I said, I don't have like a bin number. I know where things are at. But once it ends up growing up to probably 500 or more, then I'll be more particular about how I actually mark my bins or buckets of things, that my totes of what I have.
I'm very organized. I saw somebody in the chat had said, what was my rank or rating? In the military, I was a storekeeper. When I got out, I was an E7. So I'm all about inventory management. So we have a 30 by 50 building that we built when we bought this house when we got married. I had 20 by 30 of it. I've got a heat pump and everything in it, shelving, everything is numbered, so I use the custom SKU. But when we started doing clothing, we kind of outgrew that space. So now I'm taking over my husband's side of that building that was supposed to be his retirement workshop, gym, and now the clothing and my overflows going over there. So I'm very, very organized, very meticulous with my records. I have to be.
I'm the opposite of that. I am a train wreck. I have stuff everywhere. How do you store it? I store it everywhere I possibly can. And how do you have an inventory system? Only on my golf clubs. My golf clubs are actually very, I won't mess up. I've only messed up on one golf club order, and I've had so many because I custom SKU every single one of them, and I know exactly where they are, and it's really quite easy. Everything else, it's there. I mean, I know what I buy. I know exactly how much I spend. I know all that stuff. But like, if you told me right now I just sold something and I looked at it and I was like, I haven't seen that in 7 months. So that one's going to be fun to find. I'm
so
hoping
don't
it's
be
in
like
that thing.
Julian.
Don't be, do what Sonny does. And because it's going to grow. Like, no matter what you do, this thing, like,
if that's your goal, if that's your goal,
it's hard. Because my dad started and he said, I'll grow it a little bit. Now he's got tons of stuff.
He's just gone.
He's just going. Yeah. So his inventory system, he started on day one. I said, make sure you do that. And he did. And it's flawless. I said, don't be like me. It's too late for me.
Yeah. And I was like Sonny, and I knew where everything was. And then I started growing and growing. And now that stuff that I once knew where it was, I don't anymore. So I would say start your inventory system as soon as you can. I do bins, but I also have clothing racks. So I will put like clothing rack and big shed, or clothing rack and little shed. I have 2 clothing racks. So that, as long as you know where it's at. Like I have my Kachina collection like right next to me because I love seeing them. So like those say shelf on desk. So the big thing with the SKU system is being able to find it by whatever you're writing, whether like some of my stuff is on the wall. I have pictures on the wall. So it'll say it's on the wall. But the stuff, and I have some stuff that has been listed over 2 years that I listed before I started doing inventory. And I'm like, where is that? And now the hard thing for me is I have 3 people that list for me. And like we had one sell yesterday that one of my listers didn't put where she put it. And guess what? Remember where I put it if I wasn't the one that put it there. So I had to tell her, you have to come over here and find this. It's sold. I need to ship it today. And she did find it, but it's been very frustrating for me when I'm not the only one listing. So that is just FYI for those of you that keep saying you want people to list for you. You're not the one putting it up, and you can't remember where you put it if you didn't put it. So I try and notice if it's not when I'm going through their drafts, and I'll be like, hey, you didn't mark this. Or if everything around it is in one place, then I just fill it in. If it's in the middle of 10 things and they're all in the same spot. But yeah, so that has been one of my downfalls. Miss Zeta says, what do you feel is best, just listing or having an eBay store? She's confused by reading all the info on eBay. So I guess we could say like when we would recommend somebody get a store versus just having listings.
I didn't start paying for a store until after about a year when I heard people talking about it. And more than anything is when I was going to go on vacation. I was trying to put it on vacation mode because I was hearing people talk about vacation mode, and finally put the 2 questions that I had together and saw that I needed a store to do it. And that's what got me to do it. But I would say, again, like when I buy stuff, I'm making sure what I'm selling is enough for it to afford what I'm doing. I guess like my cost of living in the way of reselling. Everything that I make, I want it to pay towards what I want to do as a reseller.
I know there's a chart floating around somewhere that says, okay, when you have this many listings, then you should be in this level store, and this many listings and this many. So, but I'm not sure what the number is as far as I've had a store since you could have a store, and I'm trying to work myself back up into an anchor store. That's my goal now. I want to get back to an anchor store.
Yeah, if anybody knows where that list is, that would be sweet, because we get that question a lot and I never know the correct answer. I'm always like, it's, you know, you have to pay for some, and then you get to a certain point, then it's better to have the store. Yeah, there's a part there, but if anybody knows where that list is, that's in the checks. I ain't got a clue.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell everybody once you have to start paying for listings. So I normally recommend $250. The flip side of that is, like Sonny said, if you want to go on vacation, or if you want to run a sale. So if you want to run a sale, you need a store, whether it's the lowest level or whatever. I have mine's $59.99 a month, so I can have up to 10,000 listings, which I'm glad they changed that last year. It used to be 1,000, or I would have had to bump up to the anchor. But I would say I would recommend, if you're new, I wouldn't get a store until you have 250 listings, unless you want to run a sale or go on vacation mode, because they're free. So there's no benefit to you. The big thing is, like, when is it going to be a benefit to you to get that store and save you money? Question for Julian from Are You Bizarre? Do you have a tool to remove what is all the watch questions, Julian?
Well, what happened was I bought some watches and I don't know nothing about them. And then that's when, Jump Monkey talked about it. And then I was like, on my channel, I was like, I'm going to buy this thing that removes the back, and I'm going to try to do the things. Well, I bought this cheap one off of Amazon, and it actually snapped the thing. And then I was like done. And I actually broke a G-Shock the other day, trying to put the battery in. And it turns out I shouldn't deal with things that are small and breakable. So
we tried. Yeah, we bought the magnifier and we bought the little tools, and I said no. So I don't pick up watches unless they're worth over $50. And if they are, I bring them to the jeweler and have them put in new batteries for $10. My jeweler, if I bring them in like 5 or more, will put them in for $10, but I have to bring them in a bundle. So I haven't bought watches in forever, but I would have to have like watches worth like over
wow.
50 and a lot are worth hundreds by themselves for me to touch them, because we tried and everybody's like, it's easy to put back. No, I
impossible.
don't have that dexterity, and they're little parts, and
Everything popped off
We
of this thing. I opened the back of it up and I took the thing out and I just pried on the battery, and like literally the
And then
entire
all the
thing
stuff
popped out.
goes?
And yeah, pins and hands and stuff. I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either, and everybody's like, you can do it. I'm like, no, I can't.
I
Like,
got a vice. I got a
tried.
specialized vice that held it. Nope,
Doesn't work.
doesn't work. Impossible.
Connie wants to know, what do you guys do with all the item specifics, and does eBay ding you if you don't fill them in?
I had one
Sonny, hold on,
ding.
because the question below it is very related, so I think we can
Okay.
maybe grab these two. The one below it says, does putting more item specifics help in the algorithm? So let's hit both of these at the same time.
All right, I'm gonna open up mine because I know there's a difference of what I see, and there's probably like a title that goes under the item specifics. So item specifics. So
Here,
under
I'll blow you
recommend-
guys mine with mine. Hold on.
under when you go to required, that's the pretty much the easy part. I'm going to read them off: the condition, the brand, the type, size, and this is a Ted Baker blazer, I believe I have, one piece, blue, man, and the color is very general. If it's multicolored, then you put multicolor, and under that, I do my best as the recommended to fill out that information, because again, like I said previously, if you were here from the beginning, the more information you could put, it only takes a few seconds, and that helps. So I do my best with item specifics, and like I said, it's fairly easy. I do materials and stuff. Rebel Resale said she's getting into apparel or have been into it. I've been reselling apparel since I started reselling, so I'm very comfortable with it. And again, even the measurements, I add measurements, chest, the full length, the sleeve, and it only takes seconds. I don't make things harder than what it is, or hear other people to say like, oh, it takes too long. No, it doesn't.
Of course, we all have to fill out the required, or they're going to remove your listing after a certain amount of time. So you have to fill out the required item specifics. But as far as the recommended, I try to forget the blue dots. Like for plush, it's ridiculous because, you know, if you list something that's dandy, they have their own item specifics for that brand. But for the most part, you know, I have to fill in what's the occasion for the plush. I don't care. You know, it's just ridiculous. So I put NA on a whole lot of stuff just to get the blue dot. But of my 9,000 listings, I think I have about 1,000 that says I still need to fill in recommended. It's because I don't grade action figures. So anything I list in the action figure category, I'm not going to ever get the blue dot. And like collectibles, I don't know dates. Unless there's a date on something, I'm not going to guess, because I'm going to have that one person who says, but you said this was from the 80s and it's from the 90s. Yeah. So, you know, that's why I end up with like 1,000 that are never going to be filled in. But I did call concierge. I used to be an anchor store before they changed that whole level. And the concierge told me, you've got to fill in. It does affect the algorithm. But if you can't, you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot to say. I do obviously the ones that are required, but like the other ones. Now, some things on golf clubs aren't required, but they do help, like flex of clubs and stuff like that. And maybe the grip of the club, if it's a special grip, I'll put it on there under the item specific. But other than that, I don't do the bare minimum. And a lot of times I sell similar, and a lot of that stuff's already filled out. Just make sure it's filled out correctly, because you're going to be doing different things and everything, because you'll be swinging through and they might be wrong. But I do a lot of sell similar. A lot of them are. And then you can tell the people that sold similar and didn't look at the item specifics, it's completely wrong from the thing that you just actually looked at or sold similar as. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
So I do the best I can. I do just the best I can on that. Some you don't know.
Yeah. I just looked, and I have 2,900, so almost 75% that need specifics filled out. So I do not worry about filling them all out. I will fill out, again, the ones that are like I feel are pertinent, like vintage, is it signed? I fill out the color, I fill out the brand. Anything that I feel that people might sort by is what I pay attention to. And eBay won't ding you unless they're required, and then they're going to take your listing down. Most times they won't let you put it up. So the time you get hit with required is the twice a year when they think they're going to go make everything better and they terrorize us. And like, I think this new one, I had 2 camera things. Thank goodness. That is all I had that needed new required. I only had 2 items this go round, which was lovely. But I think you will get more people with some of them that are going to sort, like Julian's golf clubs. If he puts left hand or right hand, people might sort by that. So anything you think people might sort by, I would fill out. Dee Dee says, I don't have any credit cards. Can I start with prepaid Visa or PayPal? I'm thinking, Dee Dee, if you mean for the fees, I know like Capital One has like free banking accounts. You could probably start one with like $5. I would probably do that. So I had my business stuff separate. I definitely recommend separating business and personal if you're going to be going at it as a business. But I don't see, you probably could do a prepaid Visa. Does anybody know? Like, I don't remember if they require a business account for the fees. Do you guys know?
Your answer is better than what I would think of, because I don't remember. It's been too far back.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, but I would just get like a free online checking account, transfer $5 or $20 or whatever you want for your fees.
I mean, your fees are taken out of what you
Depending
have.
funds. It depends on how you set it up, but now,
okay.
yeah. But some people are still on PayPal though. It's a very minute amount. This is a little bit different, so I'm gonna put this one up. Samantha wants to know, how do you store excessive unlisted inventory? So this is a little bit of a different ball game here than our listed, that we want to know exactly where it's at.
I feel like anything I don't have listed is excessive because it's growing, as people say. But what I do, I have a mound of, or a bag of, say, clothes, because I love selling clothes. I have a bag of them, and every time I list, I make sure to knock out that bag and just keep things moving forward. It could either be inside here in my office, or in the hallway, or in my garage. But what I don't do is mix it with my listed items. Like I said, just yesterday, after all these years, I'm finally getting my organizational skills together.
Where I am right now is the basement of our home. So this is probably half of the basement, and this is all my unlisted. So I have an entire room. Right now, the sourcing has been phenomenal here. So I have IKEA bags just everywhere right now with incoming. And I basically am the one. Robert does the clothing for me, and I list them, but I do everything else. So I'm a one-person show as far as all the toys and collectibles and stuff coming in. So I am way behind, but that's a blessing.
Yeah, says where and how. Well, I have. It's funny you just said about the sourcing, because me and my dad were talking about this. Now's like yard sale season, and it's cranking out. So it actually works on YouTube too. If you do yard sale, you better be getting all your footage, and you better be saving on hard drives, because when it stops, you better have stuff to go ahead and put on YouTube. So like you're compiling stuff. I'm compiling a ton of inventory. I am listing almost everything I get in yard sales, but whatever I don't list, and then Friday yard sales, I have 2 storage units. I have a inside storage unit where things I don't want to get hot go, and then I have an outside storage unit, and both of them, they're not full, but I can fill them by the end of yard sale season, and that's my plan, because I need stuff for the winter. Because
he's like a squirrel.
I'm like a squirrel. Yeah, right now I'm just, and I still list a ton of stuff, but if I don't get through the stuff I want to list, not a big deal. I just put it in a storage unit, and it'll sit there until I list it. And I pull things from there. Or if I have a slow Saturday, like a slow yard sale Saturday, or rains or something, I go to the storage unit, I pick a box. I pick whatever I want. A handful of golf clubs or 100 of them. Depends how fast I'm going to get them done. And I bring them back over the house.
Yeah.
But I stopped
So
putting stuff in my bathtub. I don't have anything in my bathtub anymore.
He used to have stuff in the somebody, a couple of pickers did that too. Their spare bathtub. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Spare bathroom.
Yeah.
Like
Not
the regular one.
he just wasn't showering when he had too much inventory.
Yeah, he's got to get cleaned off
Motivation
anyway.
there.
Like probably 85% of mine is in the shed I'm in now. So we've worked through over half of it. Half of it is like a whole wall of this. I did a video a few weeks ago showing it. It's pretty massive because my shed's 12 by 40. So it's probably like a 15-foot section by 6 feet high packed. And then I do have a small, probably 10% in my other shed in the back of it. But the majority of it is here, and mine is stored right. I'm looking at it. I was storing it all in bankers boxes, but most of those are listed now. We're down less than 10 that need to be listed, and they're stored shelves. But I also, like Rebel, I have an IKEA bag from the garage sale this weekend thrown over here, and I have boxes stacked in the middle of the shed too. So as far as how it's stacked. There's no particular order to it. I did get it mostly into bankers boxes, and then I went crazy again because that's what I do. And now my whole car is full and there's nowhere in here. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'll figure that out tomorrow. Tanya, I was checking your page and noticed the free return. So this is a little bit different than what she asked me earlier. Do you run into cost issues on large items with this? I luckily have not. I very rarely, I think I have one open return right now with over 900 sold in the last 90 days. And I don't even remember, I need to look and see, and I'll tell you what it was for. So I have one return request. It was on a sack purse. That's the only one open. And it had measurements and they said it wasn't big enough, which drives me crazy. The stuff I do measurements on, and they're like, oh, this is not big enough. And I'm like, there's a tape measure by the item, like you see. So that's my one now. I had somebody return $250 vases last week, but typically it's not anywhere close to the amount of money I save by the discount on fees. I typically, most a month would be like 5, I would say, on a bad, I'm like, why are all these returns coming? 5 is probably about the most I would get in a month. Let's see. Did I really go tin can? Richard said I went tin can.
It was a little bit ago.
This internet, I don't know. Pam, as far as becoming a member, so I have paid channel membership starting at $1.99, and YouTube and Apple do not get along. So if you're on an iPad or on an iPhone, you will not see the join button. You have to either go to the Chrome browser to my YouTube channel or go to a desktop to be able to join. And I am not an Apple person, but my Apple people have told me, they have helped me with that. And a subscriber, you get all my free videos. We do this live every week, and I do 3 videos a week. The members lives, I do eBay store reviews. I do live sourcing, which is my absolutely favorite thing. Last time it was 8 hours. So I really thoroughly go through items in your area, and I love it. I love it. Brad's like, you can't keep doing it. I'm like, yes, I can. So we did have to make it into 2 days because I will look in your zip code and tell you what I would buy, and everybody gets to watch so they see what I'm looking at, how I'm using high bid, what I'm picking out. And then the $19.99 includes all of that and live shipping on Mondays, which a lot of Mondays it turns into the Dalton show. So if you like Dalton, a couple of Dalton shows you every item we sold and tells you how beautiful it is. And he asked me how much it sold for, and he it's just Dalton right here. So he overtakes the live shipping a lot of times. But that's a good time for like one-on-one questions because there aren't that many people in that membership. So people can come in while we're shipping. And I do it on our busiest shipping days. So they see a lot of different shipping when Dalton's not right there. But nobody has complained yet about Dalton being right there. So on a computer, join should be below every video. Should be. Jennifer wants to know, Julian, what message do you want to send to your blocked buyer?
It would be something like, internet failure, please try again. And then it would continue on that cycle because they would just be wasting. They would be like, this is ridiculous. It wouldn't say they were actually blocked. It's kind of like that thing where you're on Instagram and the person's like, and then it's a swipe thing. You keep swiping it and it's like, why isn't this swiping? You realize that it's a joke. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Gets me every time.
Every time, me too.
Every time.
I'm going to ask a question because I did not purposely skip it earlier. I want to ask. I definitely want to give opinions on other things other than what I use. Somebody was asking if any of us have started using Flip to cross post.
No, I signed up for it and I haven't done the follow-up email to, I guess, reserve my seat. But that's as far as I've gone with it.
I use List Perfectly, but for reasons that people kept asking me about Flip, I did sign up for it and I did try it, and it was way too glitchy and it took too long and I just didn't like it. So I love List Perfectly. It is just so fast when you're trying to cross list to 6 platforms.
I'm glad to hear that from somebody who tried it. I really am, because I have no urge to try it like at all. Sorry, Julian.
I when I do cross post, I use List Perfectly, and I'm a big fan of if it ain't broke, then you don't try something different. And List Perfectly is you can fly on that thing.
And they're very responsive as far as like technical glitches and fixing them and the coding. And in 2 weeks, we will have Clara and Amanda, the co-founders, on with us. They will be our 2 guests that they have been on before, but I am happy to have them on again. I am all about, like, I am perfectly fine paying for a service that increases the money I make in my business. I have not used Flip, but I tend to think you get what you pay for. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. And this one reminded me of the Flip question. What is our opinion on the new selling platform of Whatnot?
I've been selling on Whatnot. I think I just had my 4th auction yesterday. I have another one on Thursday. What I will say, it's like I would relate it to what I said about eBay earlier. You know, you may not get what you want, but it's items that have been sitting around. Either some are listed and some aren't. So I know what I want for it, and I will start some things off at $1. Again, if it's worth more than that, then I'll price it up a little bit more. I do want to see like my customers on there, and I have had dozens of repeat people coming in, even though my groupings at the time, I've been doing different hours of the week every time.
How many sales are you doing a week, Sonny? Holy Moses, you're crazy. Did you say 4?
Yeah, I've only had 4 auctions, and altogether.
Oh, I thought you were saying 4 a week. I was like,
no. That'll be Carrie. What is that, American Arbitrage?
Carrie is on with us next week. Speaking of American Arbitrage, Carrie is our guest next week.
He is actually going to be my. He's now here in Vegas. I don't know if he's told anybody. We've been talking quite often, but anyways, I would say Whatnot is one of the platforms. Check it out for yourself. I would say first be a customer, see how it is on the customer's end, because it's very important when you start listing stuff or selling stuff that you understand the other point of view as a customer. And I buy from resellers all the time. I'm a customer as well. More income inside here. John, I see his comment. He was there yesterday. Luis Cali reseller. He was on there, and a handful of other resellers. And I've been averaging around $200 per auction. Now, I'm going to tell you everything that I'm doing. It's not very hard, but my first 3 auctions were, I would have one item, and I would say, hey, I'm starting, let's say, at $1, right? and people would go at it. So yesterday I tried the so-called winner's choice, where you have, say, all of my Funko Pops here. I'm like, hey, I'm going to start it at $1, and whatever the highest bid is, because I'm going off of what everybody might be interested in, but it's all random. They might not be the same thing. So they're competing against the higher price to pick what they want, not knowing what the other person wants. And I made half of what I made the 3 other times. So it didn't work for me. It doesn't mean I won't try it again.
Okay.
But it's a learning platform and it's new. So I'm going to try it again. But I've been averaging around $200 besides yesterday. I only made around $100. But it's fairly easy. There's a little bit of stuff.
How long is that taking you? How long of a sale is that to make 200?
The 3 first ones were about an hour and a half, and the winner's choice yesterday, I'm glad my wife stepped into the garage, because when she checks on me, that means I've been taking too long at something, and she's like, hey, enough is enough. Come spend time with me. And that's why I love being a stay-at-home husband. I got that trophy now as of 8 months. And I looked at the time, and it was 3.5 hours. And I'm like, geez, 3.5 hours. Now, time costs money. And I made half or a little less than half what I've done the 3 other times in less time. So I got to do what works and go, I'm checking out things. I'm a new reseller on Whatnot. I'm not on eBay, but it's an entirely different platform.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go there.
I think that I haven't tried it. I probably need to sign up for it, and because I think that I can get some
Undercat. I'm like,
so I think that I can do. I think it's another selling asset that I can use. I don't know how much I'm gonna do, but I will probably definitely do one. And I just have so much inventory. Like I could probably, but I don't have. Like, I don't know what sells on there because I really haven't been on the app a lot. So I don't really, my opinion is kind of like, man, because I don't really know. Because if like cheap golf clubs sell, well, I could do one like that. But I hear a lot of people that like toys and comics and stuff like that. I mean, I have over like 700 hats.
Sports cards.
Yeah, see, I don't do any of that stuff. Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. So I don't, I mean, wrenches, do they sell? I don't know. I mean, is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't
so
know.
I am approved. I'm approved to sell on Whatnot. I have done my welcome call. I could do a Whatnot in an hour if I wanted to. I am trying to figure out what I want to sell on there, and I'm leaning more towards I will source specifically for Whatnot. Like I'm thinking I might do jewelry or small lightweight items that would be easier to pack and ship, where I can run through 50 in 2 hours and I would be able to pack them fast. Or I can do, and I know a lot of people are doing like their older eBay inventory.
That's what
I'm trying to figure out what I want to sell, and I feel like I would need to commit to weekly if I want to build my audience there, and I'm trying to decide if I have that time to commit to it, because I feel like I go all in, if you know me, on anything I do, and I'm trying to figure out if I have the time and energy to go all in on another platform that would require me to be live. I know Dom, Primetime Treasure, is doing excellent. Like he's been making over 1,000 a sale, I want to say. So in just a few hours. And like I already have my live sale with Yvonne that I do once a month. So I'm like kicking ideas back and forth. Katie and I were discussing this. Katie reads. She's selling books on Whatnot and she loves it. And I feel like, and Sonny, I know you can do buy it now on there and do higher priced items and just have them sitting there. And I know some people that are selling those. I know a lot of the vintage community is coming into it. I'm real good friends with George, the Antique Nomad. He's doing it. I know Misty Vintage, I can never say it, Vintage Junker, Thrifter, Hunter. I might have messed that up. Misty is on there. I think Michael is on there. So a lot of vintage people are coming into it. And I feel like it's probably going to grow, and it could be a very good income for me. I feel like a lot of the people that I see doing the best are those with very, very large social media followings, and they're bringing their own people. So yeah. All right. We are over on time. So I'm going to put one more question up. Did you want to say something, Sonny? Go ahead.
Yeah, with Whatnot, right? If you already follow another person that's on Whatnot, it doesn't have to be me, but you could message me later. They do have a
He's like,
referral program, right?
yeah, I
I
haven't put
if,
my referral out yet. Yeah, the 10
I
bucks.
should. I wasn't thinking about it until Kevin Commonwealth Picker. Linktree is a very good thing to put inside your bios, your description, where it has all your links rather than somebody asking you for it. Use that. It's free, right? Free
Yeah,
is very
like with
affordable.
Whatnot, if you sign up under Sunny or if you sign up under me, I get $10 and you get $10. So
But
like
if you're a
I waited
reseller,
to share that. If you're a reseller, what?
if I refer you, right, and this is
Oh,
before you apply,
it's a big referral. That's why I
it's
said Julian's
$200.
signing up under me.
Yeah, $200, right? So that's $200, I believe, for
I think it's
you.
250. I think it's
It might have
250.
went up. So and that's huge because that's $10 that's not out of your pocket as a buyer, right? I think maybe you have
Yeah.
to buy something, then you get $10, but still that's $10 for you just to check it out. And if you get on it, just refer people. I think it's a good platform. Whatnot does do
If
a
you
lot
want
of
to sell
tweaking.
on there, contact me or Sunny. Flip a quarter or something.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm whatever side it lands
All
on.
right. This is another
Imagine that.
soapbox subject for me. I'm going to end on a very, very controversial
Ooh.
question
Oh my goodness!
Spicy.
I
because
didn't see it.
I'm brave like that. Therefore, I draw. Do you think eBay and Etsy are on their last legs? Judging by their plummeting share prices, I think they're getting desperate.
I believe eBay is slowly changing things for the better to modern things and more of the reseller customer service. And even though it's always more towards the customer, I think it's going to start going towards supporting more of the sellers. And I don't think it's ever going to end. I think it's not so much too large to fail, but I think it's a little grandfathered into where it's like they have their old ways, but they're slowly progressing towards our favor.
I think they're all here to stay. You know, I list on eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, and Facebook Marketplace. And I have, consistent sales on the other ones. Nothing like eBay because everything starts on eBay for me. But I think they're here. It's just it's always changing, and sometimes it's frustrating and sometimes it's like, yes. But I don't think they're leaving. They might need to do something to keep up with these other new trends, new other companies that are coming out, but they're going to always be here.
Yeah, I think that too. And I've actually noticed that eBay Motors has sponsored some of, I watch a lot of like racing stuff on YouTube. They've sponsored some of the, to have them talk about eBay Motors. So I've seen a lot of eBay stuff out there that they're trying to get like influencers to do and get their name out there a little bit more and everything. So I think that they're here to stay. I wouldn't think that they're done. I don't know anything about Etsy though, because that's a pain to list on.
Yeah, I'm new on Etsy. I'm not super experienced on Etsy. I will tell you, I have been seeing since I started reselling that eBay is going away and it's going to die. And I will tell you by the $14,000 in sales that I have made this month that it is not. And I think and I don't watch the share prices. And I agree with Sonny and like everybody. I think eBay does need to put out some more commercials. It's definitely, I feel like it's an older demographic. My 21-year-old niece didn't even know what eBay was. So I think eBay definitely needs to reach out to the younger buyers and get the newer generation kind of on board. But I don't think they're on their last legs. Like my sales are increased, my sales are up, and I've been seeing this said for years. And most of and I'm not talking about the share prices because I don't really know about the stock market, just as far as banter and Facebook groups and things like that. And the people that say that typically are the people that aren't getting sales. And so they're ticked off and, oh, you can't make money on eBay. I will show you a lot of people who can and do make a living off of eBay. And I don't think it's going anywhere. And I like I said, I do think it's an older demographic. Like Whatnot, I feel like is probably reaching out to a younger demographic overall. Before some of us, my demographic is older women. So like if I go on there, of course I'm gonna like tell my people to come on there. So I'm pulling my crowd in. So I think as it grows, Whatnot might be a little more eclectic, and eBay and Facebook, all the platforms might have to think of something kind of comparable to those live sales to provide to sellers to try and compete. I could see that happening, like, oh, here's a live sale on eBay, like with a person. So I think that could happen. But I feel like they're all different demographics. And I don't know if Rebel agrees. I sell on everywhere but Mercari because they piss me off and I won't sell there. But like I feel like my buyers on Etsy are not the same as my buyers on Facebook, or not the same as my buyers on eBay. Like it's all different demographics. And if they did plummet, and I have this discussion, that's why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. If something happened to eBay, I guarantee you I would figure out the Etsy algorithm, or I would be on Whatnot every day if I needed to be. Like I would sell my stuff somewhere. So I think you kind of need to have a backup plan in case, because yes, eBay does suspend people permanently. It does happen. It happens on every platform. If you search, you will find it. But I look at the positive until something happens. And I know that I have multiple streams and different ways to make money. So I would definitely at least kind of know how, especially if it's paying your bills. But I don't think it's going anywhere. So that is it. We still have over 500 people chat. So thank you all for staying with us. I am going to let Sonny and Rebel say goodbye, and then Julian and myself can tell you what we have coming up. And their links have been dropped throughout the show. If you are watching afterward, their links are in the description if you want to check them out. And here is Sonny.
First, Kat and Julian, thank you so much for having me here. Mostly Kat, but Julian's awesome co-host himself. This is my second time on here. I sell on eBay and recently Whatnot. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by my birth month, October, Team Libras. And as of today, I have around 530 more hours to get monetized. So that's one of my next milestones to reach. And I hope you all could check me out as well. I do lives on Thursdays, but I am going to be working on, once I fix my computer with the video editing, pumping out more useful content videos throughout the week. So I hope you can check them out. And if not, if you haven't already, make sure to sub and subscribe to myself and these three.
Perfect. Here is Rebel.
Hi, thanks, Kat and Julian and Sonny. It was nice meeting you. Thank you to my viewers who kept telling me we want to see you on the Nurse Flipper, and they finally got me here. So thank you guys for that too.
Nice.
I have been doing the YouTube thing for about a year, so definitely come over, and especially if you're interested in supplementing what you already have a niche, you're already niched into. But if you want to just check into stuffed animals, definitely come check. See, I sell anything like Cat from $3 up to this past year I sold a stuffed animal for $500. So it's there, and you can find them at yard sales and estate sales very easily. But like I said, I'm on eBay. Everything starts on eBay, 9,000 listings, but I have learned this past year that you really need to be in other platforms also. So right now I'm doing about 5 others. So, all right. This has been an amazing experience. Thank you.
Yes, and several of you did contact me and tell me you did want her on. I listen sometimes. I do not listen all the time. I will not lie. You guys know I will not lie to you. But you are definitely welcome to recommend people you would like to see on, and I will take it into consideration. All right, Julian, what do you got going on?
I just want to thank you two for coming on. Thank you, Rebel, and thank you, Sonny. Always good to see you. And thank everybody in the chat. Kat, again, thanks for not firing me, and we've been together for like a year and a half now. I always feel like you're going to fire me one day, so I'm prepared myself for that. And I still drop videos. I still drop videos every other day, and probably be on Whatnot soon if Kat does her first auction and tells me how it goes.
There are multiple people that are like, Kat, do it. They're like waiting for Kat to do it. I'm like, okay.
Whenever you do that, tell me, and we'll see how it goes.
Hey, you can sign up and come buy something for $10.
I will, 100%.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it. I will have a yard sale video tomorrow, which I have not had a sourcing video out in a while, and a lot of people are new and haven't seen my sourcing videos. So I will have my yard sale plus a haul at the end of it showing everything. And then Friday, I think I'm going to do vintage nightgowns. I think that is what I've decided for my research video for Friday, because you can find them for $1 and they will sell for $40, $50, $100. So I think that will be a fun one. Next week, we do have Carrie from American Arbitrage, as well as Mike from Golden State Picker. And then next week, or the week after, will be Amanda and Clara from List Perfectly. So we have some good shows coming up. We are live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So we will see you guys next Tuesday. And every Tuesday, we are always here. We appreciate you coming. Goodbye for now.